Hey everybody, welcome back. The Binding of Isaac. I don't know. This is where my sense of humor is at. What a run, by the way. TA6C GR6P. Bad damage and a spacebar item that'll kill us if we accidentally press the button. So let's just quickly remove the spacebar from my keyboard. It's a fun item. I find that Plan C one of the most fun items in the game. It's an item where if you press a button, you die. This is kind of a laugh. You wouldn't understand. It's like cerebral humor. Speaking of which, what I was gonna say is, I don't know where my sense of humor has gone, but in my head I was like, you know, it'd be hilarious right now, if I just called it like the bibbing of Isaac. This is not the name. I will say, I don't know, I feel like I'm going through like I don't know if it's a humor evolution or a de-evolution. I don't know if it's unironic or we're on like 17 levels of irony. But I made a tweet last night that said, wait a minute, if there's a baby Yoda, that means that Yoda, my man. So that's the gist of the tweet. And then, like, I was already laughing at that. Then I found a picture of Yoda that looks like he's in a moment of post-coital bliss, and I posted that without a caption below the tweet. And that, honestly, that kept me laughing for, like, I don't know, maybe like 6 to 7 minutes. I was in bed, you know, getting ready to start falling asleep, but I was like, this is funny. Can you imagine, like, you know, what if? You know what I mean? Like, Yoda? I'm not even going to do the impression because Google DeepMind is going to be very upset, but like, arriving, I am. I can't. The joke's too easy. I couldn't stay away. Bram. Just, I mean, come on, though. Like, you imagine the puppet? Can you imagine the puppet going through those motions? Anyway, long story short, trying to clean out my act a little bit here on YouTube. Sometimes people will leave comments that they think are encouraging, but actually scare the crap out of me. Like, I saw one yesterday that's like, I've been watching NL since the 5th grade, and I'm like, what? And they're like, now I'm in 6th grade. And he's a boomer. No, they're like, now I'm in college, and I'm like, yo, you should not be... I don't know how that happened. Like, I had some unsupervised online time in 5th grade, but we were still paying for the internet by the hour. It's not a joke. I was in 5th grade in, like, 1998, 1999. It wasn't like we got a bill from our ISP that was like, you used 17 hours of internet this month. But, you know, you would pay for 40 hours of internet, and then if you used more than 40 hours, it was like, like $10 an hour or something. It was crazy. They were getting away with highway robbery back then. Also, it's crazy to think about a world where, and we were like on the cutting edge in my, so I always talk about Kingston, Ontario as if it's my hometown, but really that was like the big city. I lived in a rural area outside of Kingston. We were, within that rural community, we were like on the cutting edge of technological access. The fact that we had 40 hours a month of internet was like, what? You're telling me you can use the internet for like an hour plus per day? I was like, yeah, try not to be jealous. Can you imagine that now? It's kind of crazy to think about, you know? Anyway, get me out of here. Get me out of here. I think we went to unlimited internet in like 2003 when I was in like 8th or 9th grade. Even then, like, I don't know, like we have unlimited internet now, but there's like most plans, or at least many parts of Canada, are still restricted by data caps, which is just like crazy to me, man. Remember when you used to have mobile phone plans that were like, you only got a certain amount of minutes a month? Honestly, like the telecommunications industry, especially within Canada, deserves everything it gets, in my opinion. I remember in like 2012, through to maybe like 2015, I was on a phone plan where I only got 100 megabytes of data a month. So literally, like, you're gonna laugh, but sometimes, like, I'd be out. No, it's not funny yet. That wasn't the funny part. Okay, hold on. This is amazing. Sometimes I'd be out, and Kate would send me a photo, and the caption would be like, you know, what is this? And I have to send her a text back and be like, I can't look at the photo until I get on Wi-Fi. Otherwise, I'm gonna owe, you know, Rogers like $1 million. Hold on. This run is amazing, but we do need to pick up some extra HP. That's the only thing. Like, if I may not reroll this again. Proptosis, Relic, you know, great rate of fire. That's a great situation. We just need a little bit more speed. We need a little bit more HP. So I'll probably roll with this. And even that, you would think like, oh, what was your phone bill? Like $3 a month? It was like, I don't know, like $70 a month. Now we got like, I mean, there's people that are on like unlimited data, which, you know, I'm jealous of, because I've graduated. Like, I used to only be able to read text while I was on, you know, 4G or LTE. Now I can at least like look at a photo as well. I might even load up a GIF or two, but I would never like watch a video, you know, while I was outside of my home, unless I was on like Starbucks Wi-Fi or something. I'm still not there yet. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. Telecommunications. That's business, baby. We are very stoked to see this as well. I think we do want to get rid of butter, so we'll do that. I mean, this run is really good. We just need some speed. But yeah, anyway. Yoda. How about that, huh? What's up with that guy? Why you talk so weird, bro? Just... the way I am, it is. Make fun of me, do not. Are they gonna make like a teenage Yoda? Oh, that reminds me, so like after I made that meme last night, I was also laughing because I like Googled, I was trying to think of like the most cursed things that you could possibly find on the internet. And you can get a lot more cursed than this, I'll admit. Like, you can find some, like, you know, videos of people dying and stuff like that. But in terms of, like, you know, media-based cursedness, I was laughing because I Googled, Rick Sanchez Joker. This is, first I Googled Yoda as Joker. And I did find there was some, there was a t-shirt where Yoda is wearing Joker makeup. And then the text on the t-shirt says, want to know how I got these scars you do? And I was like, that's pretty great. I get it. Because that's what the Joker says, but like the way that Yoda says it. Then I Googled Rick Sanchez Joker. And Rick Sanchez is Rick from Rick and Morty. In case you're unfamiliar, in case you're uncultured. And there is a shirt with Rick Sanchez wearing Joker makeup that says, why so swifty? And I went, you know what? My family members are lucky that I have completed all of my Christmas shopping, because were it not for that, I'd know a great stocking stuffer. The doors have opened? That was weird. I guess we spent too much time, and I don't know, it doesn't seem like that was that much time, though. I don't know, man. Anyway, long story short, you know, there used to be, like, an internet shorthand that was like, if you ever want to, like, laugh, Google your name plus the hedgehog and see what kind of, like, OC people have created about it. There's probably like 15,000 results with individual unique drawings for Ryan the Hedgehog. I can't imagine there weren't. Ryan, you know, pretty popular name, very popular around the time that Sonic the Hedgehog was, you know, at its genesis, I suppose, pun intended. Probably got some spiders there. But now I honestly think, like, if you could just Google any media property character's name and then put Joker after it. And Joker. I don't think we care that much about Nun's Habit. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. I don't necessarily love this all that much, but I'm like, for a free Mama Mega and a free battery baby, it's like, it's pretty good. And I guess we will stick with the D100. I was kind of hoping to replace it with maybe a more immediately useful spacebar item, but I mean, D100 is great, it's just like we're already kind of tapped on it. Probably don't need to go back for that golden key at this point, I would say. This is our first deal with the devil, actually. I'm trying to think. I bet if you Googled... Like, what if you Googled the alien from Alien as Joker? You think that exists? It's got to, right? Like, it just has to. Like, I'll do it right now. Xenomorph Joker. Didn't get it. Xenomorph Joker. Okay, it didn't catch it all. Xenomorph Joker. Oh, yeah. Batman versus Joker, but the Joker's a xenomorph. Joker xenomorph. Joker alien. Apparently they actually... I had no idea how astute my observation was here. They actually made a comic and an action figure where the xenomorph is wearing Joker makeup. And by they, I mean like a real company. I don't mean like some guy on DeviantArt. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's kind of crazy, right? Joker, very, very popular piece of media. Very popular character. Which I don't get, because don't people realize Joker is kind of a bad guy? I mean, Twitter, do your thing. I just don't think we should idolize a guy that is popular just because of what? Just because he fell in a pit of acid? He fell in a vat of acid? And then, like, oh, so he kidnaps Kim Basinger, and now I'm supposed to just be like, oh, he's so cool? I don't think so, man. Has everybody else gone freaking... Just cause he comes out to a cool Prince song when he's... I don't think you should be defacing this stuff in the Gotham City Art Gallery, Jack Nicholson. Does nobody else see how absolutely fricked this is? By the way, I'm going to be walking into a lot of enemies here, because I'm using Sack Dagger. Even though we have Polyphemus, it's going to annoy you for sure, but I'm going to be using a lot of Sack Dagger. I'm going to be using a lot of Cuba Meats. We are almost Guppy. But all I need is a little extra speed. When we get that speed, like, I think the orbital game is going to do it for us. I mean, Sack Dagger is just, like, is so good. It's such a shame to let it go to waste by not throwing away all your HP to use it, right? That's the way I'm choosing to think about it. I'm having that moment right now. You ever get that moment where you feel like you smell something? Now, usually it's nice, right? Usually it's like fresh baked bread. Subway yoga mats? Is this McDonald's McChicken flavoring? You know what I mean when you walk by a McDonald's and like it just smells like the fryer oil. That's not what's happening. I smell the distinct aroma of feline urine, and that's a bad one, especially because I got cats. I'm smelling me. Smelling you, yeah, you're smelling me. I'm hopeful that this is just one of those weird times where your brain's like, hey, we're just gonna send you like an olfactory signal, just for no reason, just so you can remember how much this smells. But I'm confused. I'm like, where would the urine even be? Unless, like right now I'm actually questioning. I'm like, did one of the cats pee on me while I was asleep? Surely I would know. I would wake up at some point and be like, this smells really bad? No, I think I'm just having like a hallucination. You can't trust your brain. Like, Within the first 90 minutes of waking up, you can't trust everything your brain sends at you. You gotta trust that your brain is a bit of an unreliable narrator during those phases. I hope. I'll keep you posted. Wait a minute, we don't want to leave yet. We haven't been to our item room. This is a dangerous run, because the run is great, but I'm also like, let's start mashing. Why would I start mashing? Well, I realized that, like, for everything I said about, like, oh, we already have proptosis, or no, it was proptosis. I looked at our damage and was like, oh, my damage is 5.5. It turns out that maybe this run actually isn't that great at all. Like, I mean, 5.5 damage is a little bit of a... Let's not call it a slap in the face, but it's not particularly motivating, you know what I mean? You're not like, oh, I have to protect that run at all costs. I would like battery charges. We got spun out of this. Okay, all of our stats look great after that. There's a real temptation to just stick with that, I think. Because we are still one guppy item away. Our speed is, like, disgusting. On the other hand, I'm like, you know what if we just re-rolled it again? Why? Because I want to become guppy. I think guppy is as valuable as, like, having good damage. And the more we re-roll it, the more transformations we get to. There's Beelzebub. We are so slow. Excuse me, our speed stat is 0.4. Okay, we'll be guppy one way or the other if we're not already. And we weren't. So grab this, open that. I mean, to some extent, you just love the chaos, right? This is what I'm talking about here. I think we will now bounce, and we're probably leaving a little bit on the table, but all right. Few presses of the spacebar, and all of a sudden we find ourselves in a little bit more of a conducive situation, without a doubt. Smells like my dad's old hockey bag. Now I'm like, maybe I just sweated it up really badly while I was asleep? I mean, I wouldn't expect that. I don't want to get too technical. Usually, you know, I don't smell like, you know, feline excrement when I perspire. You know, your brain, you're trying to come up with all sorts of plausible explanations, except... I remember one time, it was like the first time I visited Vancouver, and I was walking around downtown with Kate, and I felt like a splash, and it's not good, you know, it's a summer day. I felt no rain in the sky. I felt a splash, like something hit my shoulder and then ricocheted and hit me in the face. And then I looked at my shirt, and there was like a little bit of poop on it, like bird poop. Looking back with a sober mindset, it was clearly bird poop, but I walked through so many... I wanted it! I walked through so many implausible, possible explanations for what it could be, rather than accept that that I had been pooped on by like a seagull or something. I was like, well, we did just walk by a hot dog cart, so maybe somebody like sprayed ketchup, but it did like the thing that it does when, you know, like you first spray it, like when it doesn't have ketchup in the turgor pressure nozzle. Eventually, when we got, you know, back, I acknowledged the fact. Now that I can change my shirt, I was like, yeah, it's probably poop. It's a coping mechanism. And that's good. But now I'm like, I'm kind of losing it a little bit. Psychologically. In case you haven't noticed. But either way, this run is now... Unlosable is not a fair way to describe it, but, you know, we're probably not going to face too much danger. I will say, you know, with Fire Mind, you could always hurt yourself. But the odds of us actually dying as a result are pretty close to 0. And if we even got close, we would just press the spacebar and instantly we'd be on like another run. The stats might not be quite as good, but we still got Guppy. We still got, actually, I was going to say we still got 2020, but I think we have Bookworm, actually. 2020 wouldn't stick with us. We still got Conjoined. Okay, now I'm going to reroll. just because, and Holy Mantle is beautiful, but our damage is horrendous. But I wanted to reroll just because, oh, let's go! Conjoined plus Fire Mind without explosion immunity was probably going to lead to some troubles. Now, the DPS on this one, even though our damage stat is not super amazing, and I know you're like, just go in there, you could have gotten the free item from the boss room, or from the boss trap room. We don't need a free item from the boss trap room. Like, I'd rather have the stars card to just, like, teleport out, I think. Oh, we have sad bombs, too. That's pretty cool. Anyway. Wish me luck on dealing with this aroma situation. It's always tough for me, too. I don't have the best sense of smell to begin with. So it's like I'm trying to... Like, I'm doing metal detecting on the beach, but instead of a metal detector, I just have, like, you know, a little tiny magnet or something. Weird metaphor, but in spite of that, seem to be doing pretty well for ourselves. Dude, you know what? I gotta give credit where credit is due. We asked for a good Isaac run. It had been a while since we had an Isaac run that was super overpowered. This is kind of exactly what I'm looking for. And you know what taught me a valuable lesson about not sticking with the run too early? You know, we committed to that Proptosis run, and I gotta be honest. Just, it's a very common fallacy in Isaac. You let yourself get blinded maybe a little bit by good items, and then you don't actually acknowledge the fact that your stats don't have to be as proportionately good as the items are. Like, if you add Polyphemus or Proptosis to an average run, then it's going to be a substantially above average run. There's no doubt about that. However, if you add them to a run that's terrible, they might just take it, you know, they might regress it to the mean. Or progress it to the mean. But, you know, when you say regress to the mean, I feel like it doesn't mean, like, get worse until you're average. It just means, like, you know, your stats become less exceptional. And exceptions can be positive or negative. God, read a Daniel Kahneman novel sometime, chat. Like, I shouldn't have to explain these basic principles. I'm something of a scholar myself, because I'll have you know I listen to audiobooks to fall asleep. I do want to say, by the way, I believe there are, you know, there's a subset of people that believe that you pick up information ambiently while you sleep. I think you're more aware when you sleep than some people would think. Like, you know, especially like having the baby, you know, you would think you could sleep. One of the big fears is like, oh, what if like she's choking or something? Like she chokes on her own spit while she's sleeping and I don't wake up. That's not been my experience. You know, I wake up for like almost every sound she makes. But then you kind of like compartmentalize it. And if she's fine, you go back to sleep. You barely remember it the next day unless, you know, Kate's like, oh, well, she was making a weird noise last night. You're like, you know what? She was. Now that I think about it, I actually got up to investigate. That being said, if you are under the belief that, you know, if you listen to, like, how to learn Spanish every night while you fall asleep, that you will learn Spanish by just soaking up the information while you're in REM sleep, I'm here to tell you that that is not the case. I have been listening to, like, the same 10 audiobooks for 5 years while I fall asleep. They, every time, they're all new to me. Occasionally, I'll remember, you know, like 2 to 3 minutes. And I was like, oh, that must have been where, like, I listened to that while falling asleep previously. And then, like, they start a whole new sentence I never heard before. And I'm like, ah, this is a... I'm out, you know. The information, it doesn't stick. Anyway, though. I forgot what I was talking about. Have I talked about anything on this run? I'm so distracted by this phantom aroma. This is, dude, this is going to be like a 25-minute Isaac run. I feel like I haven't had one of those in a week. This is the kind of thing, and I mean, admittedly, is... You know how I said, like, when you... The only way to lose in Isaac is when you don't have a run that's fun? And I would try to make the distinction, it's not that losing is not fun, it's that the run it takes for you to lose is not fun. This is the exact flip side of that. Winning is like always fun. If you, and this is a genuine statement I'm gonna make here. If you were to ask me, would you rather play like a 5 out of 10 game that you win all the time, or a 9 out of 10 game that you lose all the time? Honestly, I think a 5 out of 10 that you win all the time is a 10 out of 10. Winning, I mean, it feels good, right? Like, would I rather play League of Legends and win 50% of the time, or some, like, you know, cheap fast follow MOBA where I win 99% of the time? I'd probably rather play the fast follow MOBA, honestly. Get the quick shot of dopamine. Embody everything that's wrong with society these days. Just say, very few games can replicate the dopamine rush of a win on a run where you're losing, you know, or on a match where you're losing. I've had fun times while losing before, don't get me wrong, but they would have been more fun if they were wins. For now, though, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!